Honey Sound Broadcasting, an affiliate of the Bilko Media Network.
Yeah, all right, okay, here we go.
I can give you some live commentary.
All right, so I again, very impressed at your ability to cut these opening very well and then closing very well.
I tried to open and close strongly. This was a highly edited scene.
Yes, because
Terrific. Let's try it again.
There was a lot more in front of this and
Yes.
some in the middle that I just cut out for time. It didn't make any sense to include.
For now, we could
all right, skipping through this.
Yep, go ahead.
I tried doing a couple
Different songs.
Yeah, none of them work because the images are too bummerish too.
Right.
So yeah, just
Yeah,
flash the
I don't
title.
think. Yeah, you just gotta keep moving through it.
Much like everything, like you just gotta cut most of what's there.
You're right.
Okay, we're back to the Nazi Stargate.
Yep.
And it's no longer meaty chunks coming out this time. So like everything involving this and the tapes are just like
It goes back to our whole conversation of it shouldn't even be here, right? We should
shouldn't
see a
be
story
here.
about just Nazi America in the 60s. What would that be
Yes.
like? This is not needed. None of this is.
yes,
This is too science fiction-y.
it really is, and it dilutes a lot of the tension.
Right.
We've made great progress since your last visit, Reichsmarshal.
Because it's
Knowledge
so
surpasses
very
expectation.
you know, one of the things I thought was very interesting, maybe conceptually about the idea of tapes, was is like, what if information can travel but people can't?
Right.
Right. You know, like stuff like that.
Like you can
That
send
is-
messages,
right.
radio
But, like,
signals, but not.
Military secrets.
but not like people.
Right.
You could say like small physical objects, tiny physical. You know, like a tape. And this is the problem. This is the Bioshock Infinite problem. Is that they want to do a story about an alternate universe, but they turn it into a multiverse
Yep.
story.
Yep.
And those are two different things.
Sense
Yep.
of the multiverse, no grasp of portal technology.
Has he
And-
stopped the war with the H-bomb footage?
Understanding of quantum mechanics.
Did you already see that?
Yes, that's already happened.
Okay.
That happened a while ago. That happened very long ago. That's why I was mentioning
Yeah, I
that
thought that was
earlier.
in the middle somewhere.
Mhm.
But then they just show that magazine like they didn't know it was happening, but
I know.
maybe he grabbed that from a different timeline.
Oh, yes. We have been working round the clock analyzing the films, identifying multiple worlds.
When is the earliest in the narrative you think
What are
that
we looking at?
like we could introduce this multiverse concept? I mean, when he becomes Reichsmarshal, I mean, you already do that.
I mean,
earlier, you
Yeah.
could. I've
I mean, pluck the scene and do it earlier.
This is our world,
yeah. Well, explain.
and this is the alternate world we've reached. So like our own.
Put the time travel and stuff like
It's critical we understand it.
earlier,
We'll reach
because that is one of the failings of the show, is that all this
and
comes
more
in
beyond that.
just like
Later.
after the fact.
Yeah, because you
Yeah.
don't really know what these tapes are or where they come from, how they get here.
Right.
That
And
was
they
I
don't
remember that was our
bother-
big complaint through like season 1 and 2.
Yes.
And
Yes.
every door out is a door in. Step up the sabotage program. I don't want any surprises coming through this portal.
Well, why is it in this random spot in the United States? Like that is that is.
Right, how
one
did
thing
you
that
discover
we
this
talked about.
anomaly in the mind?
How did you discover it? It's just like you just.
And don't forget to get all your vaccines this fall. A healthy body is the key to a bright future. The Reich is counting on you.
See, like this stuff is so much stronger. You know.
Then the multiverse stuff, yeah, exactly.
Yes.
It's the conflict between the norms of the day and what you naturally think should be. And that is the true story and the true draw to this.
Jewish moneylender whose name is Shylock.
And the thing I like about this world is like all the adults that are very uncomfortable with what they're
Well, yeah, because
doing.
they were Americans, right? They grew
Yeah.
up in that world. Kids don't know any better.
See, this is cute.
Yeah. Are you sure this is a good idea?
Don't talk, Henry.
I love her rat sister.
She's such a Nazi.
It's,
This is a good scene.
What's going on?
I don't know, sir.
She listens to Resistance radio every night. They told us in school today we have to inform on bad behavior, even in our own families.
oh, I love it.
Do you like how they upgraded to the apartment, or would you rather keep them in the house?
It's a good transition point. It's a good visual transition point, so I would like
Yeah.
to keep it.
I think it is too. I think it works because it's more like totalitarian or regime focused versus a comfy suburban
In
home.
our family.
What do you
Yes.
mean by our family?
You know exactly what I mean.
I love that too, how they integrated the swastika in the furniture.
Yes.
It's a nice touch. If you noticed, I zoomed in on the newspaper, I think you would have seen, and paused so you can read it.
Oh, what did it
Do you
say?
recall that?
Listen, I know.
No, I
It
don't.
would have been in an early episode because
I know you.
there is no
Heard things
mention of them moving into the apartment. It just happens. But I noticed when he first became vice
on
marshal,
the radio.
they flash up a newspaper when he gets back to New York.
Whatever
And if you
you-
pause it and zoom in on the text, it explains why he's now in the apartment.
No, why is he in the apartment?
Because he's now vice marshal, he wants to be closer to the office and all this and that, or something like that.
Yes,
You
okay.
have to go back and look. It was right in the beginning of one of the episodes, I think. Right after he becomes vice marshal.
And there's things that even I can't protect you from.
Well, I was just watching the uniforms and I was like, oh god. Nazi uniforms are really like aesthetically, like they knew what they were doing.
Yep.
Also, I love the little details, like how like all the stuff in Germany is like really post-Christian. Like all the symbolism is like Greek and Hellenic, and it's that's kind of like the
Well, that's what
motif.
they were going for, right? Like with the Third
That's
Reich
what they
and
were
everything.
doing. Yeah, yeah.
I also wonder, like, why this girl sees through Nazism and the other one doesn't, when they both grew up in this world.
Now I shall have somebody to talk
Well,
to.
I mean, I could see that.
Is it like a rebellion from her parents?
Surprise you.
Well, she's older,
She's a little older, but
and younger siblings are usually more socially
Money.
adept. It's got a picture of Himmler in her room. She's
Yeah.
like 7 years old.
yep. Which is true. It's like, who has a picture of the
not
president?
true.
You know,
What you
She's-
told her.
She's a little psychopath.
the perfect Nazi.
She is. So why can't his kids just stay with their?
I think
I
it's
don't know.
bad optics for him, and everyone
It's
was,
bad optics.
you know,
If the wife is not there.
yeah.
Oh, she's coming back though.
You know, I don't think you really see this guy much
world
after
changed.
this.
No,
You don't really know what happens to him.
her brother that appears out of nowhere, who just happens to have
Right.
a farm in the neutral, which was sort of weird, because she's like a high state official,
Yeah.
and like what, she has a brother that lives just in the neutral zone, who's
Right.
openly hostile.
Right.
To
That seems like it would be that would have been taken care of a long time ago.
yeah, that would have been nipped in the bud, so to speak.
I love the wall.
So like,
What is the manpower it takes to maintain this all the way up
Right.
the United States?
you were talking about like just that's the thing. When I saw like that wall, I was just like, okay, all right, I guess it doesn't have to go up the entire wall, United States, but
It's like Berlin Wall on steroids.
for what? I mean,
Yeah, what do you? I mean, you're keeping out the neutral zone, I guess, but
I know
look how much time and effort went into building the thing.
Mom,
it's like 40 feet tall. Like
at our house.
Is
like 3,000 people live within 50 miles of this place.
Yeah, you assume it's in the middle of nowhere that goes up through like Kansas or something. Kansas, Nebraska,
Yeah.
Montana.
That's why it seems so goofy. Oh, I just drove up to the giant.
It's like you're playing Age of Empires or something.
Listen,
Built a wall around your border.
maybe
I
take the
know.
girls to a movie.
Someday I'll help you.
Because at this point, right, their relationship is pretty much dead.
Right.
Framing is great too if the Nazi swastika right behind him. I mean,
I'm sure
I don't
that's
think
on
you should
purpose.
be at the dinner tomorrow night.
oh, this goofy looking guy. One of the many shark teeth.
Isn't he the one who helps them take over?
Yeah, I know.
Pleasure to meet you.
But it's just this is like the seventh like
Yeah, like rando Nazi executive to come in.
mm-hmm.
I suppose you could say I had an unfair advantage.
It's like Scott Pilgrim's seven
New York,
ex-Nazi girlfriend.
a
Right.
marvelous city.
He's very Arnold Schwarzenegger-y.
Yes.
As you
I
say,
think it over.
there's nowhere like home.
I added some stuff around this too. I forget what it was.
The Reichsmarshalsfrau?
I'm afraid she's indisposed at the moment.
You are dismissed.
She's very like Snape-ish.
You put-
Marguerite,
yes.
we weren't expecting you until this evening.
My husband's dietary restrictions.
Of course.
Heil Himmler, Madam Smith.
How Himmler?
That's a weird thing to say. It's like, just so you know, my husband can still get it up. Go you, I guess.
Good evening, Helen.
I mean, you have Mars colonies, but you don't have Viagra. Well, I guess we did something right, you know.
Handmade chocolates.
From Café Demel in Wien, the finest in the world.
Oh, danke, Frau Oberhimmler. Danke.
Oh, she's such a
The
little,
clear favorite.
she's such a little sucker.
How many languages can you speak?
Leave her behind. She gets to live.
And I have one final gift for you.
It's a revolver with one bullet. Don't screw up.
Why don't I show you?
It's like, yeah, Danka. Yeah, nice mirror.
Yeah.
God, I want this to be like my living room so bad. I mean, minus all the Nazi shit, but like all the
Everything
wood
else.
paneling
Yeah.
and shit. Mmm.
Style.
The 60s.
Smith, how you handled the uprising in Belgrade.
So, one scene I remember being kind of robbed of its punch, or just kind of feeling like it happened out of nowhere, was when he got shot.
Yeah.
Like, it feels very...
And there was nothing like after that.
Who has been rattling everywhere?
Yeah.
Well, really, technically what happened after that was that invasion and attack that you were questioning
Where are we going?
because they tried to eradicate more resistance movements. But you didn't really catch that because they were between seasons when, between then and when you saw that. So it kind of got lost. But there was no like climatic result of him being shot, right? Like it didn't cause anything. I mean, they could have attacked the resistance movement anyway. They didn't need him to be shot.
They are building a case against us, John. I can feel it.
The walls are closing in. Take 3.
Yeah, right.
We've been here before.
So Obergruppenfuhrer's got to dive in deeper yet again.
He's got to dive in. He's got to become Hitler's ghost.
I want the little ones.
Girls?
Himmler's got the COVID.
He does.
Perhaps we should talk about this in private when the girls have been excused.
Yeah, let's just talk about our secret
Right.
world multiverse invasion
I
plan
think,
in front of...
Himmler's losing it.
Yeah, he's trumping.
Good way to put it.
This all eat our brown gravy. So God, the Germans won. Everything is now just
You twice in one day.
brown soup and meat.
Thank you again, Helen. And your daughters are beautiful. Favoring their mother.
Thank you.
Thank you for the
Yo,
Let's get that drink.
your 9-year-old's hot, just like you.
All I see in Berlin are smiling faces everywhere I look. But there's no one I can trust.
You'll always have my loyalty.
I don't want your loyalty, John. I want your devotion.
That's why he's so great. He is playing Hitler. I mean,
Right,
you
he's
know.
the personification of Hitler. Because we never really got to see Hitler in this too much.
No.
And I'm wondering, like, why? Like, why can't he be Hitler? Why does it have to be Himmler?
It would make more sense.
Right.
Well, it's because they had the book, and that was their first season.
Well, in the book, Himmler was already taken over. There was no Hitler in the book. He already died before the book.
Oh, okay.
That was, I remember, a major change. So if you already introduced Hitler in season 1, why can't Hitler be him now?
I know. Well, maybe it's because maybe Hitler shouldn't be a main character in a TV show.
Yeah,
maybe
possibly.
we shouldn't have that. Right. Guys, I'm gonna be real controversial. I'm gonna cancel Hitler.
Sir, your wife, your son, and yourself are alive in a small town called Bailey's Crossroads, Virginia, outside Washington, D.C.
Okay. All right. So this is a time skipperoo.
This is this happened seasons ago, technically.
Yes.
You are a businessman, sir.
Businessman. What kind of business?
Insurance, sir.
An executive.
You're in sales.
In D.C.
All around. You...
Traveling insurance salesman.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a traveling salesman.
I really love the moment where like the Nazi flunky kills his boss in the other world. That was really kind of hilarious.
I'm moving up in the world.
Just like whoops.
Wait, what happened?
Oh well, when the Nazi guy kills the alternate Obergruppenfuhrer, like in the real
in the real series, yeah.
show. Yeah, that was pretty funny. I like that.
That's in
So
here still.
I accidentally killed my
My boss.
killed my boss.
Yeah.
Oh no.
All right, you can skip.
No.
So, I had to move this forward in time because he needed to slowly understand that his other family existed. If he knew that his other family existed long ago, then why would he wait so long to go to see Thomas in the way I did it?
Unfortunately, she escaped the guards, sir. Disappeared into the district of contamination. Yes, sir.
District of Contamination.
Increase the security on my family.
DC. Hey, it
DC.
still fits.
Oh, look at you. You're a natural with that ice.
You hear that country song or whatever that was?
Yeah, I did.
I'm so glad to be back. Aren't you?
That should have been edited out then.
Hated the
There's some random country music as an elevator door
well,
closed. Hang on, yeah.
If I had to guess, that scene was about to transition into the
I mean, you can't make
where
them
like
all vanilla.
Joe and Juliana and all them were in the neutral zone.
Or is this...
it's when you press the elevator button, it plays country music.
The elevator music.
Maybe someday I'll take you to visit our headquarters. How does that sound?
I'd like that.
It's gonna be a spy.
All the girls in school are wearing German braids.
I grew up with them. I can make them for you.
You can?
Sure.
I can be your new mother.
Right.
Okay.
That was a weird transition too. I wonder why he's so emotional. I think I chopped this up a little bit.
Why?
Oh, I know. Right before the scene is when he actually went to see the family.
Different.
Oh yeah, he just came back from the other
Right.
world, I think.
Right.
Yeah, and
How does it end? John, all of this, I mean, where does it end?
asking the real questions, asking the questions the audience is asking.
Yep.
How does this end? How does this all end? Why haven't we gotten there?
America's war in Vietnam will be quickly and easily won.
All the way from Africa on.
So this has what I call the Tron problem.
In war, technology and wealth are no guarantee of victory.
You have a bottleneck.
Will to win.
in terms of what you're able to do here.
Mm-hmm.
There's no amount of force. You can have infinite force on the other side. You know, like you could have an entire world that was Nazis. And if you're just trying to put it through a 18-foot tunnel in the middle of upstate New York, and that's your only entrance point, well, I mean...
Marguerite. Oh, what lovely flowers.
Oh, here's the flower scene.
They have to be handled properly. Surely.
Were you talking about this before? Or
Yeah.
giving her like dead flowers?
Amaranth. These are beautiful. Oh, fresh flowers. Bloom once, Sendai. Dried flowers. Oh, forever.
She never blinked.
Which is why I invited you here today.
There is no holiday like Reichsgiving. And so, I have a very special guest for you this morning, ladies. A personal friend of mine who has never appeared on the show before to share her own Reichsgiving recipes.
See, I like this.
Yeah.
Because it does show how you could pursue like a parallel power strategy, like in an incredibly patriarchal society. Like how do you do anything as a woman, right? The point of this show is to hold up a mirror to the modern America, right?
I promise, no calorie talk.
And say, well, how much of this is still applicable?
I can answer that in one word. A word that we can use on Reich TV? I think we can use it, yes. Honesty.
The resistance. Just throw up your
right.
Rise up, my Americans. And I will be your Boudica, your queen. I will lead you to revolution.
First Reichsgiving. The first moment you gave thanks for National Socialism.
She's Hunger Gamesing.
Never saw it. I don't know what you're referring to.
Hunger Games?
I mean, I know of it, but I've never seen it, so I don't know the context.
Oh,
you don't need to explain it. I'm just saying
Games.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I thought that my baby was going to starve. And who else was there that night?
Why is she pressing?
I know. It's like, and what were the names?
Yeah.
Ranks. Dog tags.
If you recall, this is where the Jewish guy was.
John, myself, and Thomas. And
Yes.
we put the past behind us.
Staring off into the distance.
Yeah, that definitely. It's going to play well in Middle Earth. We put the past behind us.
Wasn't that guy there too? Guy on the right?
Yeah, oh yeah, he was. That's he's an American nationalist, which would be a thing.
Mm-hmm.
There would definitely be an American nationalist sentiment too in the Japanese states too.
Yeah.
Did I ever tell you we watched the first episode of the South Korean designated survivor?
What?
There is a South Korean version of the designated survivor.
Really?
And we watched it.
Did they blow up North Korea?
South Korean parliament.
Interesting.
It's great. The one white dude is an American who's just a big bully and just like bullying the shit out of a South Korean trade minister.
I had no idea.
Being a jackass and a jerk. And everybody's just like, if we apologize now to you right now, will you sign the trade deal?
That woman put me on the spot with her question. It all came rushing back. I haven't even thought about it,
Which is such an odd question. Who else was there with you?
but I handled it.
I know.
Didn't I?
Why would you assume anybody else was there?
Right. Do you know who that is?
I think we should
Who?
get back to studying.
You might see her in a second. It's Brody from Stargate Universe.
Oh.
Find the perfect right wife.
And the captain's in this too.
She did.
What's his name?
Oh yes, he is. I remember that. He was part of the resistance.
Yeah, so is this guy. They're both working together, which is so random.
He promised to help me get back from the neutrals on Sunday, and I don't want to wait.
There he is.
Very un-Stargate
I don't like
captain.
involving the kids. Kids see. Kids hear, kids talk. Then what? We take
Boo.
I know.
Boo.
This scene was 5 times longer than it is, and I cut it out as much as possible.
When the take back.
I even tried to get it to cut her out, but it didn't work. She's such a downer. Like her whole aura is all depressing.
Doesn't help. The last time we saw her, it was in a. She was in like a cocktail dress, like no, not a cocktail dress, but she was.
By whom?
She was drinking cocktails in a dress. With the Reich marshal's wife.
Yep. There would have been a throwaway line somewhere that said Juliana Crane escaped to the neutral zone.
I concealed the evidence and disposed of the body so that it will never be found.
Yeah, but details. What did you do?
Dismissed.
Yeah, I cut out when he actually does it because it didn't really fit with everything else. But obviously he explains it later, so. Oh, that was weird. There was like a frame left from a cut.
Is that a ship?
It seems out of place.
It does, and it kind of is, but it's very necessary for what's happening next.
The price will be paid with the blood and souls of the sons of Japan.
Well, yeah, that's the whole. I mean,
you're at war.
So they're just like, no, we don't want to be an empire anymore. Well, that's not how it
exactly.
works.
That's why this whole thing is stupid and unrealistic.
Like, oh, we just we had the empire switch flipped to on. We just needed to, there we go, flip it. All right, okay, empire's off. We're good.
Right.
There's your problem. Don't flip your empire switch to on again.
And the whole reason they have an empire is for resources, right? If you retreat back to Japan, you give up your industrial ambition. Like, I don't see Japan going backwards.
Well, they mentioned that they're still fighting in China,
right? That
which
too.
Makes it like you've been fighting that war for 30, 40 years now at this point. And it's so dumb because it's just like both empires decide to go, well, I mean, let's just not hold America anymore. Let's just not do that for no reason.
I think this whole sequence too is all flipped around, where the Japanese pull back. See, he's working with the Japanese, and obviously the invasion happens later on. You have to be able to explain what happened here, and so that's why I showed the bombings and showed the pullout.
Only the Titans are forever.
Wiretaps. Special cameras and microphones mounted in public and private places. Nothing goes unseen.
Hoover's always scheming.
You gotta love Hoover because it's like, yes, absolutely. Absolutely. He's such a perfect little Nazi.
That's why we found him before Berlin.
Mrs. Smith's suit has arrived, but it needs a bit of tailoring.
Were Nazis Christian? Like, did they
That
believe in Jesus and all that?
Maybe we should talk to your mother about
That was
it.
a very interesting question.
Be happy to.
There's no real way for us to know if the Nazis would have either supplanted Christianity or, more likely, I think,
I'll be right back.
Right.
molded, into something.
Like you see
Because
all
I
the
think-
swastikas on the trees instead of the crosses and stars. I think they would have like taken it over and used it as like a propaganda machine. And you even saw some scenes. I think there was like a scene in a church where,
There was a scene, the funeral was in a church.
Yeah.
So there are still churches.
Are you a little girl?
Now, what they worship in those churches,
Right.
like
That's the
that's
question.
the thing is like Rome, of course, right, is under German occupation in this universe.
Yeah.
Reason that I can think of.
Or at least the Italians probably still own it.
We'll take
That was an edit. Did you see that?
No, I actually didn't. Hang on. I was getting a snack.
Seamless. It was seamless. But just watch the transition. I forget why I cut it out, but it needed to be
He
done.
got me all wrong. If I ever catch you again,
See that?
I will take that eye.
No.
It jumps.
Oh yeah, the music was a little different, but
No,
yeah, no, you
well,
did
the
a
music
good
jumped a
job.
little bit, but her face jumped a little bit too.
Mm.
Because I think she went on a tangent and yelled at him about something else that I cut out. This is highly edited as well. There's a whole conversation here, but I took it out.
Love it.
Julia Mills.
They go on and talk about how Thomas is alive, he's in another world, go find the tapes,
big idea.
blah, blah, blah. But it's not necessary. This was hard to see or understand when I was seeing this. Like, do you know who that is?
No.
Right. Because it's her maid. Or it's the family's maid. But normally she's in her maid outfit and has her hair up.
They're like my family.
No,
Oh yeah.
they are not.
But she just looks like a completely different person here.
Don't you? What shall we drink to?
To the Fuhrer, of course.
That was a transition too. That never happened.
Some random music starts playing. And he sits back down.
John,
Yep.
I need a word.
This is still... There's no not making this a bit of a hot mess in that sense, right?
11 a.m. tomorrow.
See, this is why I needed to keep Julie on, because they're going to talk about when to kill Obergruppenfuhrer.
Mm-hmm.
This was all super edited. I cut out a lot.
Millions of people are gonna die in those camps just like they did the first time, and your husband is in charge of it all.
And we've tried so hard to get rid of her.
Mm-hmm.
You need to tell the location so you can murder him? Well, it's him, or millions of others.
Do you really think that's going to stop it? Like, killing the vice marshal?
Father of my children.
I know.
Someone else is
this
just going to take his place. Like, it's not going to stop the war.
Yeah. What's your plan after that?
But yeah, that whole conversation also included talk about how Thomas is alive in another multi-universe and this and that and blah blah blah, and it went on for another 5 minutes, and I took it all out. See, that's what she should have looked like when she was interviewed. Then you would have known who she was. I want to say I spliced that scene together, where she holds up the paper. That actually happened, I think, before all this, and this was one continuous scene. But I felt it made more sense to build that suspense, I think. Could be wrong.
Purity of its citizens.
Bring the rest out to my chambers in 1 hour.
Yeah, this makes no sense.
Why an hour? What's the delay?
I know. What are you gonna? You got a game of Scrabble? You gonna get started? You know, like what's going on?
I never saw you as a father. I saw you as a petty little tyrant. You're a mediocre man.
And his epic own here. Like, what is this?
Right.
This makes no sense.
The very thought that you see yourself in me.
Like, I was wondering, like, did he poison?
That's what I thought. Something went down, but
Okay, oh my god, remember this? You're helping him. That's oxygen you're putting directly over his mouth.
maybe it's gas. You swapped the canisters.
That's what I was wondering too, is did he swap the canisters?
I don't know. Either way,
Like, did he plan to kill him? This doesn't make any sense.
He must have, because what happens right after this, right? Everyone else gets killed too.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
So they had
There's
to
no
have
setup to
planned this, and
Zyklon, okay, so it's the poison
it is
gas.
poison gas.
So like Himmler just wasn't gonna notice his oxygen tank.
Right, was swapped.
The big skull and crossbones on it.
And like, how do you get the loyalty to pull something like this off?
I know, you had no loyalty. The writers just write him out of it.
Right.
It's so like, this is bad. This is
Right.
bad.
I'm like, look how many people's left, and then look how many people had died. Like,
You've just killed like 90% of German high command.
I found your words quite moving, but it seems they found your speech unpersuasive.
Well, who is this? The thing is, who is this guy?
who is this
You
guy?
introduce this guy.
And the way he talks too, it's like, it's almost as if John Smith doesn't know this was coming. But I guess he must have.
It just makes no sense.
Over for you. North America is yours.
And the rest of the Reich is yours.
You have complete autonomy.
See, are they like independent here? Or is it like a Canada-UK thing?
You have complete autonomy.
But they're still under German rule, right? Technically?
It makes...
You said you have autonomy, but does that mean complete independence? Or like a separate country? Or are they just like a Canada, like a territory still?
I mean, you turn your brain off, right? Because you
just gotta go with it. Because there's no other.
There's no answer.
There's no way around it. There's no way around it.
There's no answer to those questions, right? Like, there's no, because they're just big plot holes.
Yes.
Big plot holes you could drive a truck through.
Yep. Which was the problem with the series,
All right. Okay. Let's see how this ends.
The dramatic conclusion.
We mourn his loss.
I was giving a speech for somebody who's killed. Haven't seen this before. Writers have only 3 ideas.
If he personally rejects Nazism, and he has complete autonomy, why is he still pushing Nazism? Wouldn't it be a little suspicious that all of the Nazi high command was mysteriously killed? Like, they're explaining Himmler away, but how do you explain the whole everybody?
The fucking red wedding.
Right.
You just saw. Oh, this just arrived from Berlin. It's plans for Phase 5. They're still taking orders from Berlin.
Right, that's why none of this makes any sense.
Day after tomorrow, I'm going to be taking a train to the Poconos. 11 a.m. I'd like you to join me.
I used to think the Poconos were like Caribbean islands. Because everyone calls it the Poconos, like the Bahamas. And Poconos just sounds Caribbean. This scene I spliced together too. If you notice, which you wouldn't if I didn't mention it, it's daylight out. When it's actually dark. Because I had to merge these scenes together. Because she finds the key earlier in a much earlier episode. But at this point in time, she unlocks the desk. This is actually when she originally finds the Thomas tapes.
We got a top-notch key there. Got a whole one.
Right.
It's like a medieval castle key.
You could use a paperclip. Although now that I'm watching this, how did a Phase 5 thing get in his desk at home if he's still going over the plans at the office?
See you on the train.
Here's a question. In the age of Ospreys, which they clearly use to shuffle him around to the right neutral zone and everything, why do you take a train?
I don't know.
I mean, don't get me wrong, I like the monorail, but it just seems so outdated by this point. And does that line go anywhere else, or is it purpose-built from Manhattan to the Poconos?
Well, I don't know if you noticed it, but it had jet engines.
It's a jet engine, jet-powered monorail.
That's right. Yes, I love it.
But again, why aren't you taking a plane?
Julia Mills, you remember her?
This whole thing is really his fault. Why would he take in a known resistance member to his house?
Oh, no.
It makes no sense.
500th Airborne is ready to deploy. The Luftwaffe has recommended we launch
Give the order.
I like how there's this big invasion going on, and he's taking a vacation to the Poconos. Like, why isn't he sticking around to see this thing through?
Right, he just had like a 50 cal on a train.
I like how it has like an auto firing. Like the guy just pushed a button and it started firing at the people.
It was me, John.
It's like, it was me. Why did you come on this train then, if you knew this was gonna happen? I think they just nuked the fridge. He's okay. She not so much.
Okay, that was a rough cut.
Yeah, he cleans up quick.
He cleans up quick.
There's got to be some assumptions taken here because there's no way to do that a little
Oh
cleanly.
man, oh, that was rough. That was a big bump in the road. I don't know if the shock absorbers could hit that. He's in a different suit.
Well, yeah,
He's not
because
hurt
he's
at
going
all.
to the other world. He changed, which was what he was gonna do anyway.
This, Wait, what? What was that?
It was self-destruct. It's a one-way trip.
Oh my god. Wait, what? Okay. That was, he blew it up behind him.
Yeah, I did throw that in there.
Oh man.
Did you rewind it? Because I heard the explosion, but I didn't
No.
see it.
Well, there was an explosion, and it was random, and then there was explosion sound later in an unrelated scene.
Oh, was that what that was? Maybe I accidentally have that in there.
I think, yeah.
Whoops.
Helen. I thought you weren't coming back until Sunday morning. What are you doing here?
Oh, I was thinking I could surprise you.
See the USA in your Chevrolet. America's asking you to call. Drive your Chevrolet through the USA. America's the greatest land of all.
You still there, Bill?
Yep.
Performance is sweeter. Nothing can beat it. Life is completer in a Chevy. So make a date today to see the USA and see it in your Chevrolet. Traveling east.
Well, there you go.
Wherever you go, Chevy service is southward or north, near place or far. There's a Chevrolet dealer for your Chevrolet car.
Oh my
In
goodness.
a Chevy, so make a date to see the USA and see it in your
I thought that was a good song to end it on.
Oh
Now,
man.
now I do agree the ending is a little choppy. When I say a little, probably a lot. But I mean, how else do you save this? And this is, my best effort to try and attempt to save it. The whole theory is that you're trying to imply here is, yes, it's a little choppy from the battlefield to when he's going through the portal, but the idea is he snuck away from the battlefield, as you saw, but then got himself to the portal area, changed into his
Clean up nicely.
clean up nicely into his USA clothes, which he was going to do anyway with his wife.
Instead of a title card, John cleaned up nicely.
Right, yeah. Throw that in there.
Yeah.
Sets the self-destruct, so that he's escaping into the U.S. and, not have to deal with his dead wife and everything else that's going on, and no one else can come and find him and blah, blah, blah. So that's kind of what was supposed to be implied there. And it got a little weird because, he meets his wife, he meets his son, but then this Danny guy shows up. And it's a callback to the beginning, right, of chronologically, because that was the first thing that they did was, he got sent off to the concentration camp and he didn't save him. So at the very end, I even thought about cutting it all out, but I kind of like how it's left in. And yes, you kind of end on a little downer because it's, he's reminiscing about all that. But
a little downer. The last scene is him staring up, remembering betraying his friend. So
yes,
great. Oh
yes.
my God.
And I think it's it comes full circle. The story does to because he's now alive in this new world, and he can go about his business. The only thing you don't see here is what happens to his daughters. He kind of abandons them, right, to go live with his son and wife.
Yep. He's like, well, forget about daughters. I need a son. All right. Well,
that could be.
I'm glad I watched the Obergruppenfuhrer supercut.
Yep.
Could always use less Joe and Juliana, but I appreciate what you did.
Yeah, well, you see how Julianne kind of came in at the end there, which was the only
does.
reason she existed in the beginning, because you can't show the end without that middle beginning part, because the wife has to know who she is. If the wife doesn't know who she is, then none of this works.
Oh.
And you need it to work because the wife has to tell them how to kill the husband.
Mm.
I don't think there's a way to do it without showing it.
Well, I'll ruminate on that. I look forward to your whatever projects you've got in the pipeline.
Right.
Yeah, but I'm tired. I might take a nap.
I know. I need to go to bed myself. But I'm glad we got through it, and I'm glad you got to see the ending, even though it's a little choppy.
I love the Chevrolet.
America's the greatest land of all.
It's so good. Oh my God.
I debated it between that one and there was another song. I forget what it was, but this one just works so perfectly to end it on that note.
This has been a presentation of Honey Sound Broadcasting, an affiliate of the Bilko Media Network.
See the USA in your Chevrolet. America's asking you to call. Drive your Chevrolet through the USA. America's the greatest land of all.